When I'm investing, I am investing not for shiny objects, but for the downside scenario. Like, what happens when the economy goes into a recession, or we have another 2008, or 2001? Like, these cycles keep happening. And, like, do you want to be in an asset class where, like, in luxury travel, which is like discretionary, or do you want to be in an asset class? I don't want to be invested in luxury class A apartment buildings when we're at the top of a market, right? Like, I want to be investing in the most affordable thing, like mobile home parks, co-living, because what happens in a recession or depression? Like, people are moving away from the class A apartment buildings and everyone shrinks down a class. It's like, oh, I can't afford that one anymore. Like, I need to go back to living with roommates, or it's like that asset class becomes more desirable. And, like, what am I investing for? I'm investing for the downside protection. And I thought co-living was like the number one best, and I still think so. Like, over the next 10 years, do you think rent is going to get more expensive or less expensive? Are we going to have more inflation or less inflation? Or is it going to be harder or easier for people to live on their own? Like, you hear all these reports from, like, Warren Buffett to, like, the greatest financial thinkers of our time, that, like, this is becoming a renting country. And, more and more people are not being able to afford the basics. And as inflation keeps eating up income, like, all the discretionary stuff goes away. But you still need to pay for where you live.
Talk that talk, man. I'm just gonna play this clip, and everyone asks me, like, "Why would you do co-living?" Well, listen to Pascal. I
Yeah,
love
man.
that. I love that.
I'm a huge fan of this. I've been doing it for over 10 years. I've lived in it. I see it. I see the people that live in my homes. When I go tour them, they come out to me and they're like, hey, man, just wanted to say thank you so much again. Like, I wouldn't be able to live anywhere else. And you helped me get out of a bad divorce, or a bad breakup, or, I moved to a new city, or I'm just trying to save my money for, trying to pay off my credit cards or save for a down payment on a home. Like, those are the types of people that are living in these homes. And that's at least who I go for. It's like, it's not college students. I'm not buying college areas. It's just, near major corporations and employment, people who want to save money.
Exactly. You just hit on one of the misconceptions. I think a lot of people think it's like super affordable living in the sense of, like, they're on the street and this is the only house they can get. A lot of my people, even when I started, before I was doing like these entrepreneur houses, were just people that could maybe afford a studio, but they're like, I'm trying to save for, my loan I'm trying to pay off for my student loan, or I'm trying to save for a house. So it's not people that are just like really like can barely afford the rent, for the most part, at least for me. And maybe you price your, places the same way.
I've learned I've been in a bunch, right? Like, I've been in Austin, I've been in Charlotte, and I'm now in Atlanta. And the price points are a lot different. Like, I'm still charging the same amount of rent that I did when I started. 600 to $1,000 a month is what I charge. But depending on if you've got a private bathroom, how large your room is, like, if it's in a secluded area, whatever. And there's, my favorite people are people on Social Security, to be honest, because they're older and they just keep themselves. They don't, they have consistent income coming in. They're not dependent on a job. And, I think it's not that that's my choice, but most of the time, because it's based on lead flow. But, I probably a good 20% of my people are on Social Security, and they're just looking for a place to live out the rest of their years,
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to do a rapid fire because I'm going to nerd out with you. Ready? So,
Yeah.
Do you have Pat split manage all your properties, or do you do any management yourself?
In December, I just took over management 100%. And so I have a team now.
Okay, walk me through. What does that team look like?
Yeah, so it is a combination of two people. It is a maintenance tech on the ground. I pay him $25 an hour. Basically, the way that I've arranged it is that he gets paid around $50K a year. So it's a full-time role. Like, he's my handyman. And then I have a incredible call center supervisor, former property manager that is from the Philippines that I pay $12.50 a month. That is my full-time property manager, handling day-to-day operations, coordinating, answering tenant issues, answering the phone when people are trying to move in and they have issues, people getting locked out, verifying if, doing all the onboarding calls for tenants that are coming in, doing, weekly checks, checking all the security cameras, checking that all the common areas are clean. We've instituted also the third kind of role is that we have a house manager. I adopted that house manager program from Sam Wiegert, and that's been really, really successful. So I have a house manager in each house, and we've gone through a couple different iterations. But the latest iteration is that they get paid by task. So they get paid $8 to take out the trash every week, empty the trash from all the common areas to the main bin, take it from the main bin to the street every week, take before and after photos and submit them to us. Then, you get paid an extra $50 if you do all the common area cleaning, which includes taking before and after photos of everything, but cleaning the lint from the dryer, wiping down the kitchen, pulling everything out of the fridge and doing a deep clean and putting it back in, and wiping down the floors, and then wiping down, cleaning all the bathrooms. And so that's how we have that set up. I have security cameras in all the common areas. So I know if people, oh man, if you hear about people saying, oh, someone stole my food or there's theft, oh man, we get all that stuff on footage and then immediately find them, get them out of the house, and they're out. And it's, man, we've huge strides we've made in our process.
Okay, you don't want to ask. Give me a horror story.
I mean, look, I think, man, I've got many. I think, one of these instances where someone was stealing, they, one of the other tenants was like, hey, we openly tell everyone, and we have signs that say like, hey, if you think someone's stealing your food, let us know. We'll check the cameras and give you the footage. We want 100% accountability. And then we gave it to them, and then we addressed it with them. And, we tell them like, hey man, like we have you on tape that you're stealing stuff. And they're like, no, you've got the wrong guy. It's like, no. I literally like, here's the footage. Like, do not do this again. You're paid, you're going to be fined $50 and like, you're going to need to leave the house. And one of the person whose stuff was stolen, like went and knocked on the door, and they kind of had some, they talked about it, and the guy like pulled out, like started showing his gun. And then we had all that video footage. And I immediately, I called him back and I was like, hey man, if you are not out of there in the next 24 hours, I'm going to get so many police people call. I'm immediately calling the police. Like, you better get out of there before you get arrested. And 3 weeks later, the cops came and had an arrest warrant and tried looking for him. But by that time he was out. That's one. I've had a friend who, he had someone overdose in their home and pass away. And so he had to go, had to like clear the body out of the room with the police and like the whole nine. So, these are the horror stories. These are few and far between, but you definitely learn about people and how crazy people are when you start to do any kind of real estate management, whether it's hospitality, Airbnb, co-living. People are people.